Peter, just explain to us from your perspective the advantage of training on a synthetic track as opposed to a more traditional dirt or sand track.
Yeah, look, from my experience, I've learnt the traditional sand and dirt tracks, they're available and readily available. They're easy to get those surfaces down, but for me, it's got to cater for all year round, wet and dry. And I've found with sand tracks and dirt, when they get wet periods of rain, for our track here at Randwick, we seal it, and it can be sealed. If we get 4 or 5 days of rain, it can be sealed for 4 or 5 days. And to work on it's like concrete; it packs very, very hard. And then when it does start to dry out, it gets slippery on top. Compared to an artificial track, a synthetic track, there's perches in it all the time. There's always give in it. It's water just goes straight through it. You don't lose a day's work, and actually the wetter it is, the better it is to gallop on. So for mine, it's a no-brainer. I would much rather a synthetic track than a sand or a dirt, really. Cause I've worked on both, but there's no comparison in my mind.
Yeah. And what have you noticed? How do you quantify, for instance, injuries to horses, or how's that improved when you're on a synthetic track?
Yeah, I'll just go on what I've seen. I've been here at Randwick now 4 years, and I was at Warwick Farm for 25 years before that, and that we had a sand in a poly track, sand in a pro ride, and the pro ride track whilst I was there, I think my shin soreness rate was about 1 in 10. Since I've been at Randwick, it's about 6 out of 10 on dirt. And back injuries hardly had any. Here I've had a lot of high suspensory strains. I've had stress fractures in pelvises, tibia fractures on the dirt here. A lot more. I've never had them till I got here, and it's got to be down to the track condition. I'm not working any different to what I did at Warwick Farm, but it's definitely there's a lot more concussion in these tracks here than what there is in the poly or the pro ride. There's a lot more give in it, a lot more friendly and helpful for their joints, and now it's a bit of a shame to move from there, but all talk's good here. We're going to get one, so I'm certainly looking forward to getting my horses back onto that sort of surface to work on.
And with those synthetic tracks, they're more durable, as you say, of course, and a sand track can get compacted and hard and fine, almost like a hard concrete.
Yeah, well, sand, it breaks down. Like every time you work on it, you're breaking the particles down, so it becomes powdery. So it's a lot of upkeep, a lot of uptake, and keep on improving, taking sand off, putting sand on. So it's a lot of maintenance. The poly track is it's tickled about twice a week. So it's longevity is there. Occasionally they might put wax or whatever new mix in it, but it's very occasional. And for me, it's a no-brainer. It's lower maintenance, but the best thing for training is so forgiving on joints and backs and knees and things. It's if your horse is sound, you get more horses racing. That's what it's all about.
Perspective, horses training and racing on synthetic tracks, how do they appreciate that surface as opposed to, say, a dirt or a sand track?
I think they really appreciate it quite noticeably. From a rider's point of view, it's from training on it. It's really comfortable to ride, because just the other morning I was out at Rose Hill and I rode sort of 7 or 8 gallops on it, and as I said, from a rider's point of view, you pull up with no jar through your body. So it's that in turn's got to reciprocate to the horses as well, you know. If it's comfortable for us, then it's got to be comfortable for them, obviously being 500, 600 kilogram animals. So I think they're a plus for racing industry in general, and as long as they're maintained properly and close eyes kept on their maintenance, then I think they hold up quite well, and they play their part in keeping horses sound.
Yeah. And in terms of wet weather, and when there's a lot of rain and they falls through a synthetic track, it seems to handle it better. Yeah,
I think so. As long as the combination's right, the mixture's right, they seem to. I think they ride better in colder weather than hotter weather, but I think they can change the mixture to suit different climates. But I know that the Rose Hill one settled in better with colder weather, and even with a bit of rain on it, morning of it actually still rides quite the same, and almost rides a little bit quicker, if you like. So great surface to have anything to do with.
And of course that would always keep the tracks open a little bit longer if they can handle the wet weather, as opposed to going through those wet months on the other surfaces.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you good options to keep your horses fit and feeling well, and that in turn keeps the grass tracks at a pretty good standard as well. They're not getting ripped up and chewed up, so it's I can really see it being a positive for our tracks here.
Yeah. And just in terms of the Kenzo the Kensington track's been rebuilt here, there's a noticeable camber. Just talk us through the safety aspects and how the horses appreciate the camber of the tracks.
Yeah, it makes it easier for horses to corner, for jockeys to ride them. They corner on their own then because of the camber. It promotes them to turn that way and take the corner with a nice amount of ease. I think the days of having flat tracks and expecting the tracks to suit all horses, whether they're forward, back, or in the middle, are gone. It really does help to make tracks play level, and it allows both on-pace horses and backmarkers to get into the race. So cambered tracks are fantastic to ride on.